What is up, Dr. Token? We have some crazy news here. Holy cannoli. Folks, we got some crazy stuff happening right now. It is so funny. Oh my gosh. I was featured in a video that has 277,000 views. From this streamer that has 793,000. I'm gonna live react to this. I don't know what's in it. He has 793,000 subscribers. Let's take a look here. 1 second. Look at this. 277,000 views in the last 5 hours. This is more than like the CBS one. The CBS Metaverse one has only 27,000 views. And it's half as long as this one. Folks, I have not seen this yet. So, let me see. Here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go like that. I'm gonna live react for this. I will admit, I've watched the beginning of it. 1 second. Ah, damn it. I watched the beginning. And if y'all want my my 2 cents, I'm gonna leave y'all listen, but honestly, it's very it's clear this person is like sort of, I want to say, like, just look at, how can I get the best view here? I'm gonna go like that. All right, I think that should be good. All right, there we go. Oh, shiznit. All right, y'all. Let us enjoy whatever this is about. Number one, off the bat, just know that this is some straight up cringe. This is like some straight up cringe stuff right here. Like, basically, the person is really has a very how do you say, antiquated look at the culture of Metaverse, or a very narrow perspective. I actually think that is a very academically sound perspective. This person has definitely done their research, but this person is more the kind of person who's going to spend their weekend in a cabin or by the lake than necessarily playing around with advanced technology. It's like this person has an Oculus on their table, and they feel like that is their definition of art. Like, just look. This person clearly isn't an artist. I just want to say that out front. Like, take it from the perspective as it is. Let's give it a watch, and let's see. I'm gonna give you my live reaction. If you want to watch this without my commentary, feel free. But I started to see this. I got to this chapter, and I was like, yo, we're definitely about to watch this live. Especially when this came on.
It is difficult.
First of all, the future is... What is that? Future is a dead ball. This guy is an artist. First of all, this guy... I take it back. This guy is an artist. Anyone making this is refining the art of memery. This person is clearly a Redditor. That's an art classification. Let's go.
It is difficult to fully encapsulate the sheer contradiction between Decentraland as it exists in the minds of its supporters and the actual product that you can interact with, but in this endeavor we shall strive. Maybe we spent our best shot early by opening with Redditors praising a theater with non-functional doors and a photo
Redditors. This guy is most definitely on Reddit.
Of a real concession stand in place of any actual modeling, but it's probably best to let you know what you're in for. That post we ran earlier, by the by, is the most popular post of all time on the Decentraland site.
Oh my god, and look at his hoodie. It says, what is it, Lake Economic, see what I'm saying? I'm not just pulling this, I feel it, my intuition.
Reddit. The fact that it's a crossover event with Reddit's meme stock fanatics, right down to being disproportionately laden with Reddit awards as they tend to do, has a poetry to it that I couldn't script. Name a more iconic duo than bad products and cereal bag holders. You can't do it.
Doesn't this guy kind of look like BitBoy? BitBoy Crypto. Why is it that like people that look like this go the most viral in Web3? It's because like most people who are investing in Web3, literally, I think they might just look like this. Oh my god, why is that?
Name.
Why is that? Is this BitBoy Crypto?
A more
Unconfirmed possibility.
Iconic duo than bad products and cereal bag holders. You can't do it. The pizza kiosk they rave about, where you could, in theory, order Domino's.
And I also want to say, like, this is coming out, when is it coming out? Today, like 15 hours ago? Dude, you know how old this event is? This is like early last year. This is like more than a year. This is 2021 March. This is like 1 year ago, 2 years ago. Holy crap. Dude is referencing an event from 2 freaking years ago. Excellent journalism here. I just want to say, world class.
Via the Metaverse and pay in ETH or mana is long gone. All that remains is an empty plot devoid of even the world's procedurally generated shrubbery.
I mean, like that right there. Let's listen to that one more time. I got.
You can't do it. The pizza kiosk they rave about, where you could, in theory, order Domino's via the Metaverse and pay in ETH or mana, is long gone. All that remains is an empty plot devoid of even the world's procedurally generated shrubbery. The details are thin, but from what's available, it's apparent that Domino's wasn't officially involved in any capacity, which would indicate that the builder had really just created a middleman between you and Domino's, where he would take your crypto and then pass the order along with payment in dollars to Domino's on your behalf. The event calls back to one of the foundational myths of crypto, the 10,000 Bitcoin pizza, the first purchase ever made with cryptocurrency.
22nd of May 2010 is the date when someone first purchased an item with Bitcoin, in this case a pizza.
The reality of that is very similar to the Decentraland pizza kiosk. No vendor accepted Bitcoin in exchange for pizza. Floridian Laszlo Hanyecz offered 10,000 Bitcoin on a forum to anyone who would bring him 2 large pizzas. Fellow Floridian Jeremy Sturdivant took him up on the offer, bought 2 large pizzas from a pizzeria with his own money, and then traded them to Laszlo in exchange for the Bitcoin. Hey, that's backwards. Wait, it's also backwards from this side. Other groups have tried to recreate amusement rides in Decentraland, such as those found in District X. Originally slated to be Decentraland's red light district before the project organizers stole all the donated land, District X is now home to an excellent showcase of the reality of Decentraland's ability to deliver interactive experiences. Laggy, glitchy, and profoundly sad. Oh yes.
I'm curious to know, like, has this person ever built anything? Has this person ever built anything? Or are they just like... let me see. What has Dan Olson built? other than a clear opinion, which everybody is entitled to. He's built this YouTube channel. He's just a known fudster, non-investor who just hates the stock. Amazing. Well, first of all, this is already probably one of the best, this is the kind of content that I think captures a clear perspective. Everyone is open to having their own perspective. This is just one that captures one perspective very clearly and very authentically. I feel like so many people in this space, they don't give their authentic opinion. They don't actually present themselves and what they build and create, authentically. And this person is super authentic. He's not putting it, he's referencing Reddit. He's wearing his lakeside sweater. He's even got the old school, Nintendo. This guy is showing who he is and he's giving his opinion. And I love that. I think this is super authentic. I don't agree with a lot of things that he's saying. I think this is just one opinion. And we could talk more about what the specific things I don't think are necessarily weighted appropriately, but let's keep listening in. And for those just tuning in, I want to say thanks for tuning in. Good morning, good day, whatever you're up to. I'm going to drop a listen to earn code. So if you want, you can go ahead and claim, let's see, viral. Let's go. Does this count as going viral, folks? If I'm in a documentary that has over 300,000 views in 15 hours, I think that counts, right? This is maybe our first viral video. Even though it's not on my own page, I don't even care. That's right, viral. You can just go ahead and claim that on the community page. Right under home. Let's get back to it.
I can feel the thrills coursing through my veins. In the Decentraland experience, there's a persistent tension between the different vectors of incompetence. Most of the people building this stuff don't have good ideas, so the stuff is generally bad from first principles. But then on top of that, the tools for building things in Decentraland are also bad, so good ideas are kneecapped by being extremely hard to implement. But then on top of that, Decentraland just runs and performs poorly. The controls are particularly heinous, and sometimes the camera gets possessed by 1,000 angry ghosts, so no matter what experience you build, it'll be tainted by that mandatory membrane of interaction. Some of what you'll...
So basically, this guy, what he's trying to say is he has a little trouble with the controls. That WASD, that mouse movement. He clearly needs to step up his Fortnite game. Clearly, dude is not spending enough time playing Fortnite.
Top of that, Decentraland just runs and performs poorly. The controls are particularly heinous, and sometimes the camera gets possessed by 1,000 angry ghosts, so no matter what experience you build, it'll be tainted by that mandatory membrane of interaction. Some of what you'll stumble across is almost quaint, like this modern-style suburban single-family home populated entirely by official Nintendo art. It's almost adorably incompetent, like the Decentraland version of a GeoCities shrine to Xander from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. At least until you notice the force.
Dude, this guy is walking into Decentraland and finding the first thing he can find to shit on. So far, from what I'm hearing, I've yet to hear him understand the culture of what's happening here. I'm getting a very surface level. Let's get a little deeper here, Dan. Come on.
Sale sign out front and the several dozen identical Mario houses scattered around the world, all owned by the same guy named Dan. They're everywhere. I've completely lost track of how many unique instances of this house I've stumbled across. This is in part because navigating Decentraland is a nightmare. The extremely short draw distance and attendant lack of landmarks makes it very easy to get lost, so it's hard to tell if any given modern Mario house is a fresh one you've never been to before, or one that you've looped back on.
August 1st, 2022 announcements. Decentraland, setting the track for future experience creators using Infinity Engine code. The first of its kind in Decentraland, Decentraland shows what the Infinity Engine code can do, serving as an open-source foundation for future high-speed experiences.
Decentraland faces a fascinating problem inherent to its basic construction.
Do you see his puppy? Does anyone see his puppy right here? So adorable, my goodness. No wonder this guy does not spend his time in the metaverse. That little thing is so cute.
The language of
Or is that a cat? That might actually be a massive cat.
interaction with the world of Decentraland
Yeah, that's a massive cat. That actually explains. Okay.
is the language of games. You navigate the world via an avatar, your avatar runs, jumps, and clicks on things. This makes games the most obvious implementation as an experience, since the ludology is already there. The problem is
What the hell is ludology? I am not that not knowledgeable. Definition. The study of game. Oh, wow, that's cool. The study of games and gaming. This guy knows his ludology. Listen, clearly this guy's an OG. He might feel a little butthurt because in this new culture, he might not feel so OG as he feels in his ludological studies.
is that Decentraland is just bad for games. Decentrally
There you go. There you go. You know, like I said, this is great because he's being very authentic. Decentraland, this guy's just saying Decentraland is bad for games. And you know what? I actually will say, I agree. I don't go to Decentraland to play games. I don't go to Decentraland to play games. I go to Decentraland for culture, folks. I go to Decentraland for culture.
is an abysmal little experience, barely qualifying as the kart racer that it nominally resembles. Of course, we can't.
Good morning, Grismo. Grismo, we have some breaking exciting news. We're watching this video here. This individual with 793,000 subscribers. In 15 hours of them publishing this video, this documentary about Decentraland, and I have a whole section featured about me. I've been told. It is coming up at the 44th minute, so in about 20 or so minutes, we're going to see the part about me come up. But this is a whole documentary. It's already surpassed the number of viewers on the CBS Metaverse documentary we had 1 year ago, 27,000 views. This one has already 10 times that many views. So this guy's giving me some free promo. I don't know what this is all about, but let's keep watching.
Judge it too harshly, as it's just a proof of concept, though given that everything in Decentraland seems to fall under that umbrella, it's enough to make one suspicious. Like, maybe it's still in.
By the way, I have never played this game in Decentraland. I have, like, as someone who's been in Decentraland for so long, I have never been to this. I never played this game. Jump in Spider, yeah, I agree. Reddit is definitely a place for crypto Web3 haters. Just any internet forums, really. Like, you go anywhere. Like, the people who understand Web3 and crypto and this, they don't hide behind. They really step out and stand in front of their words. They don't hide behind a text in a chat room. You know what I'm saying?
In beta, or it's just a proof of concept.
They're more focused on what they can actually build and do with the technology rather than just talking shit on a chat room. Let's be honest.
Are just a rhetorical shield against criticism. Either which way, the developer's other project, Infinity Engine, is also awful, and it's been featured on Decentraland's front page for well over a year. The fantasy of the metaverse is one where it subsumes much of our present reality, where, in the words of Matthew Ball, entire generations will eventually move to and live inside it, which, as a statement, more or less demands poetic interpretation, that Ball is referring to interactions and activity
Grismo says, you know, nothing sells more than hate except sex, and I would say, you know, it's good because I definitely ain't sucking this guy's dick. That is for sure, 100% not happening.
Taking place via the membrane of the software, because otherwise it's, you know, stupid, because your body won't fit inside the wires. But regardless, this idea of place requires the simulacrum of place, and the simulacrum of place must encompass.
Hold on. Simulacrum? This is why we're doing, what is a simulacrum? Simulacrum. Definition. Give me this. Guys read, oh my god, a lot of books here. An image or representation of someone or something. A simulacrum is a representation of or imitation of a person or a thing. Awesome. Simulacrum. A unsatisfactory imitation or a substitute. But it's also in an unsatisfactory, okay? Simulacrum. People, we're learning things on today's stream.
encompass both the fantastic and the mundane, because if it doesn't encompass both Skyrim and your office and the grocery store, then there's too much discontinuity. The metaverse ceases to be a world, a true place, and becomes little more than a digital interface. And to that end, the existence of the metaverse demands the existence of Issue Law, a professional corporation. Welcome to the Metaverse Law Office of James Issue, a personal injury lawyer based in Los Angeles. James isn't in right now, no one is, and he never will be, because the idea of staffing this place with actual people is patently absurd. Well, it was unfortunate that you tripped and dropped the urn containing your grandmother's ashes because you tripped over a rake that your roommate left out. Unfortunately, when you attacked him with that rake, it was a crime, and so I'm afraid I'm going to have to refer you to a criminal defense lawyer.
I would say clearly somebody whose channel is called Folding Ideas and really comes out really as a video, like people typically talking down the potential of something else. They do that to elevate themselves. They do that so that they can talk about how much they know. So I don't see any other goal other than, presenting oneself as, just this beacon of truth for a topic. That's the only reason for putting out a video like this. But like I said, everyone has their opinion. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. I actually love this video so far. Let's keep watching.
This is outside kind of the purview of what I do. I'm more of a personal injury lawyer, so unfortunately, you are going to need criminal defense representation, and I do have some people that I can refer you to. I'm deeply sorry for the loss of your grandmother, and
we also I want to say this is maybe not the best move, because Mr. Dan, I don't know if this is the guy is the Dan Olson. I think he's the Dan. Okay. So Dan, like if this law place really is active and they see this and you're standing in front of their logo as a guest pretending to be them, there's a good chance they might come after you. Like, this might be considered defamation. This might be considered you pretending to be, misrepresenting them on a video. You have this size of an audience. I hope that this is really this law firm that you're talking to, because if this isn't, then this could be a sticky situation you just put yourself in.
The death of your roommate, but I can't assist you any further in this matter.
Because this video is not a parody video. This is supposed to be like an educational video. But this is crazy. If that actually might be lawsuit material.
This is not meaningfully.
Note to self: you can fuck with everybody. Just don't mess with the lawyers. Don't do that. That's no, Dan.
Useful in any way to businesses. When confronted with the actual product, the actual series of things that would need to be engaged with to make the fictional vision of the metaverse real, the product and the comparison to the next generation of the internet is comical. Ball quotes Tim Sweeney talking about a future where every company is expected to operate a virtual world, just as every company a few decades ago created a web page, and then at some point every company created a Facebook page. But here's the thing. We already know from those examples that most companies don't need much more to a website than some cursory fluff and their contact information. A website
housed a pizza. Check out the pizza. Dude housed a pizza before this episode. Dude didn't even put away the pizza box.
To most companies is just a replacement for a Yellow Pages entry. It's an ad whose number one job is to carry a phone number, address, and business.
And do you notice how the shot here, what is like the two things that are super framed in this shot right here? Two things that are mega framed in this shot is the dude, and what's in the top left corner? What is that you see in the top left corner of this shot? Dude, the top left corner is a degree. I don't know what that degree is in, but very clearly the dude was like, I need you to see that I is smart.
business hours. A Facebook page became appealing because it offloaded the work of designing the page and its functionality as a whole in a way that office workers could easily manage. Facebook handles running Facebook. You just put in your stuff, making it a useful tool for high-density, up-to-date communication like promotions or changes in operating hours. The entire process there is a move towards efficiency. The construction and maintenance of a virtual world is ludicrous in comparison. The effort to build and update is orders of magnitude beyond even a basic web page, and the information density goes down. Like, this is really important. Most business communication is going to be in the form of text for ever, because text...
This person is clearly not an early adopter, not an innovator. This person is not a kind of person who's going to test out some new technology. He's sitting there with a book of Ready Frickin' Player One on his table as a testament. This person is like, I know the old, and I have an Oculus Quest. I know the new. I know. I sit by Lake Ikanakawaka with my Oculus Quest, and I'm in the future. I know. I've read about it. I've seen it. I know it. I have a degree.
Text is really...
This guy's like this is the origin story of Dr. Evil. You see, oh my gosh. This the origin story for Dr. Evil right here. Oh my gosh, folks. Mr. Bigglesworth? Is that Mr. Bigglesworth there on the... Folks, I'm going to drop a code here. Listen to Earn and Bigglesworth. How do you spell Bigglesworth? Bigglesworth. Secret code. You can listen to Earn some Aurum. The secret code is Bigglesworth. Another 500 Aurum that you can earn there. You know what? He can come back at me. I don't care. Clearly, he stepped to me first. You know, like, no, I'm not. Honestly, there's no grudge. There's no nothing. I'm just giving my opinion. He's giving his opinion. I'm allowed to give my opinion. My opinion is that this is the origin story for Dr. Evil. Folks, look at this. Tell me this is not the origin story for Dr. Evil. This originally was BitBoy Crypto. BitBoy Crypto became Dan Olson, and then Dan Olson became Dr. Evil and Mr. Bigglesworth. Okay? And he's gonna soon. I'm almost positive he will demand me for $1 bajillion.
Really
In the metaverse.
useful. But the metaverse is a uniquely terrible medium for the delivery of text because that text cannot be presented in an optimized format. It must be bent to the metaphor of a real space.
Holy crap. This person obviously thinks about, like, I get it, dude. You read a lot of books. You got a lot of books. Respect, bro. You keep reading your books. But the end all be all isn't just text. Like, clearly there's an immersive relationship visually that comes with being a part of the metaverse. And by the way, he keeps talking about the metaverse like it's a singular thing. The metaverse is an emanation. It is an experience, many different versions that connect to this concept. Just like the internet, you know, it's like you're talking about, like, you know, like Facebook isn't the internet. It is part of the internet, right? I think he understands this, but I think it's just coming off in not the right way. He definitely lost some money on crypto. But also, he might just be cognizant of the fact that, you know, the content right now that gets views and the content that will always get views in this space is going to be the you know, the counter to, or the FUD. He's a FUDster. I mean, this guy, fear, uncertainty, and doubt. That's what this channel is all about. So I get that. But also, like, I feel like this is just my reaction video, right?
Because text is really useful.
I agree completely.
But the metaverse is a uniquely terrible medium for the delivery of text because that text cannot be presented in an optimized format. It must be bent to the metaphor of a real space. That's why the only actual meaningful things in issue law, a professional corporation, are links to conventional flat text.
Dude, that for me is the dumbest thing I've ever heard. This is such a closed-minded perspective of what's happening here. He's saying like Decentraland handles this in a really terrible format and then goes ahead to literally cite one out-of-the-box link structure. Like, crazy.
Bent to the metaphor of a real space. That's why the only actual meaningful things in issue law, a professional corporation, are links to conventional flat text and image-based websites, because they're just more efficient ways to present and access information. So the virtual workspace, the idea that this plot in Decentraland would ever become actually functional as a space, with the receptionist navigating up the virtual stairs to tell James via in-world voice chat that someone is waiting to see him, is comical. But without that promise, without that story...
That's not, by the way, that's not what, when I've worked with... I worked with a lawyer once to set up a law space, and I talked to him about what he wanted. The goal of these legal people, their goal isn't to be waiting in a metaverse law space. Their goal is just a lead generation tool, fool. This is just a way for them to say, hey, yeah, it's a unique value proposition for them to just flaunt on the golf course, guy. But that doesn't mean that like that's where the value and the limit of what is like. You have to understand the people that are doing this before. And by the way, this person included me. I'm kind of like maybe hurt that he included me and didn't even reach out to talk to me or ask me anything. Because I feel like clearly this person went in, and I feel like just like this person clearly thinks he can understand a topic by reading a book, he thinks he can understand the metaverse just by looking at the surface. But the metaverse and what it is today isn't represented by what's on the surface. It's represented by the people that make up that culture. I don't think this guy gets that.
What's even left? An NFT gallery and hard-to-use widgets that just open Instagram in another tab to remind you that you're not in the metaverse, you're just browsing a website? I guess at least you can stand on the balcony and admire the modern Mario house across the street. Even official productions, stuff created by the developers themselves or people they've subcontracted, trend heavily towards embarrassing. The festival stage for the first annual Metaverse Music Festival featuring DJ Paris Hilton lacked collision on the stairs and balcony, meaning you could take a terrible elevator to a second floor that you would immediately fall through. New Year's Eve 2022 was staged in a Duke Nukem-esque recreation of Times Square and featured a devastatingly terrible jumping puzzle.
That is true. Honestly, the New Year's was all right. But for new users, a lot of these experiences last year were very inaccessible. They were very inaccessible.
Indescribably bad in its fundamental construction, riddled with all manner of collision problems, and very much coming off as a half-hearted idea that was implemented improvisationally.
Personally, though, I like the art of it. I like the visuals. Like, I didn't come in to play Mario and have an amazing Mario experience. Sure, the jumping it's not like I'm feeling like it's a gravity jump of like, Assassin's Creed or whatever it may be. But to be honest, I like the art of it. Look at the pretty shapes.
And never actually tested, let alone revised, with the reward being a broken scavenger token, Z-fighting textures, and a bad view of the party.
For the record, if anyone has actually been to New York for New Year's to see the ball drop, trust me, I can at least say this is a better experience. At least they beat the real ball drop in New York. Shout out to anybody who knows what I'm talking about,
Was that it? After a long day's virtual lawyering, it's only natural that you'll want to take a load off, and we would recommend none other than NFT World's NFT World Cities Comedy Club. It's always bugged me when I go into a comedy club and I'm not immediately met with comedy. It's false advertising. But With the power of the metaverse and a $120,000 grant from the Decentraland DAO, the NFT World Cities Comedy Club obtained an infinite source of comedy.
We hope to have some content from Decentral Comedy soon. And we have also sourced content from an AI tool called ChatGPT, which...
this is where things are going to get hairy, folks. I can already see where this is going. The topic is now to the DAO. So, of course, I think this might be why I was included. Because I was the first person to ever get a DAO grant, ever. I'm not the most funded in the DAO, but I was the first person to ever get a DAO grant. And sort of have been the teacher, the leader, the person who's been showing people how to get these things done. And I would say the pioneer, both in success and failure. So it'll be interesting to see how this pans out.
Provides some joke.
But, I will say, be prepared, because the truth is this guy's probably going to call out a lot of the bullshit that is out there. Whether he casts the correct judgment, I'm not going to say, but let's see. Ooh.
For us to show here.
It's not all comedy and incompetence and insincerity, though. Occasionally you'll stumble across a single plot that's just a simple shrine to a loved one, taken away from this world too young, and oh hey, it's another modern Mario house. One of the most consistently popular locations in Decentraland, popular enough to warrant a functionally permanent spot on the Genesis Plaza Hot Locations board, is the Wondermine meteor mining and crafting game. Now, something to stress here is that this is, within the context of Decentraland, a success story. There are people who interface with Decentraland solely as the medium by which they access Wondermine. Even just looking at the map, it is one of the few consistently occupied places where you can find other players in any reasonable number.
Facts.
And it is an idle clicking game that is so sluggish in its pace that it barely qualifies as a Skinner box. Meteors fall, and you click on them, and then you wait. The sole value prospect is that at the end of the process, you might be able to craft an NFT wearable that you can then sell to someone else.
So like I was saying, if you want to see what this is worth, we can go over to the marketplace and search steampunk hat, and as you can see, it's worth 242,499 mana. The value of mana today, it's over $1.
So, with such big money on the line, of course the game is botted to hell and back with idlers and auto-clickers. Decentraland doesn't log users out after a set time spent idle, and the meteors fall in predictable locations, so it's pretty easy to automate. But even barring that level of complexity, it's trivial to just leave a tab idle and collect the periodic rewards. Wondermine is also immediately adjacent to one of the oldest games in Decentraland, Dragon Rush, which is featured prominently in Genesis Plaza. Immediately, we can spot a problem with the real estate model of the internet. This relatively modest game has an absolutely massive footprint and necessitates a towering retaining wall to back its terrain. From a standpoint of architecture, it's an immensely hostile block, a massive, impassable barrier to both sightlines and traffic. It turns out that having every individual app and website take up scarce space in an adversarial relationship is bad. Alright, so walk onto the dragon's back, press F to flap wings and fly, go through the gates and land on the landing pad to finish the race.
This game is terrible. This guy's clearly a gamer, and he wanted like something that was like a fun game, and it didn't happen for him, bro. I can understand your frustration. It's okay, bro. I want to give him a hug. It's okay, bro.
Now, maybe this is just unfair. After all, I did say that Dragon Rush is one of the oldest games in Decentraland. Let's do some due diligence and find something more mature, more refined, something with a budget behind it.
At Knights of Androme, the ultimate role-playing game that will challenge you to farm, craft...
Used to be called Dice Masters. I just realized, I just found that out, that Knights of Antrim is actually Dice Masters. I just found that. Like, I didn't make that connection in my brain.
And fight your way to the top. Those looking for a little more action to their Decentraland experience need look no further than Dice Masters, an incredible, fully playable role-playing game
See, it said Dice Masters right there. You see, it said Dice Masters.
built within the Metaverse's trusty framework. Within its sizable location, gamers can undertake quests, battle enemies, collect resources and craft in-game items, all in addition to ridding the realm of the terrible poultry scourge. Dice Masters development and expansion should the following Tier 6, up to $240,000 USD, 6 months vesting, 1 month cliff grant in the gaming category be approved, yes wins with 93%.
Well, okay, that's quite a pitch. And, you know what? Let's treat this seriously. Let's treat this like it were a Kickstarter or Steam Early Access pitch. $240,000 is modest but realistic, and watching the trailer, it's all very achievable, especially since the buildings are just lifted from World of Warcraft. But, the features are very straightforward, and the trailer even evokes Decentraland's style. This is eminently realizable. Low rent? Sure. Devoid of original ideas? Also true. Doable? Absolutely. This is it, right? This is the moment Decentraland has been waiting for. This is the realization of all their promises. This isn't just a thing in Decentraland, it's Decentraland as a platform, as the infrastructure invisible beneath an otherwise independent game experience. They even bothered to include the coordinates in the trailer like they actually want you to go there.
That's a really cool trailer. Dude, I'm gonna like this video. I'm upvote on this video because this is fucking fire. I'm honored. I want to see what he talks about. I want to, when he gets to us, let's see what he does. Yes, this is exactly what anyone's going to experience playing games in Decentraland. I can guarantee you, this is what you're going to experience. This guy is awesome.
It's just, it's the same story over and over again. Everywhere you go.
Even though, obviously, we have clearly different experiences, different perspectives, I would feel like I would go and hang out by the lake with this guy.
Decentraland, it's all the same stuff. No amount of remixing can overcome the underlying flaw.
We need a conversation between me and this guy would be absolutely hilarious.
Laws of the base layer. Decentraland wants to be the invisible tech behind the scenes, but it can't, because it also wants to be a real virtual world, and the one goal imposes endless creative and technical decisions onto the other. You can't really get anything better out of the system.
Well, first of all, there is no more report.
The Metagamma Mall is a
I want to say, well, not that there's no more report, but I'm not doing a Decentraland report anymore. All the other reporters, they stopped reporting. Pretty much, the report has been, how do you say, wound down because, frankly, and this is what I'm going to get, anybody tuned in and wondering about this, after a long time, 2 years of building the DCL report, I had to consider, especially after the animated film was rejected and the way I was getting treated and the way people were trying to value getting a team to do 6 months of work and not willing to put the funds towards having the team actually do that. And the expectations, the way I've been treated in the past. Look, I'm not a person who has to stick around and deal with that bullshit. I walked away. I said, you know what? I didn't charge anybody for any FT. This isn't a rug pull. We created this whole thing from scratch. We built what we said. We came out and we have the whole... I just walked away. I said, hey, if you want to keep doing the DCL report, let me know. Nobody ended up reaching out. Nobody ended up saying they wanted to do it. So that's basically... I moved forward, and now what I'm doing is my consultation group is Imagine on Earth. I'm working with big brands. This is my platform now. And actually, I have another stream I got to start in 20 minutes. So let's keep this going. I might just move this over to... I just might continue right here and just activate LinkedIn. But this is too good, folks. Let's keep it going.
Construction of special note because its existence was made possible by a grant of $220,000 from the Decentraland DAO, the organization that operates, in theory, as the government of the Decentraland world.
Another question that I have, because now he's going to start talking about development. What have you built, Dan? How many games have you built, bro? Do you know how much it costs to build anything in this world? Do you know the cost of developers? Do you know what it is right now? You explain to me. Show me what you've built, bro.
The pitch was a gamified mall, and I will let their own pitch package speak for itself on some key details.
Game plus mall equals Kami Mall.
The game Super Dojrio, the vitality of the mall. The P2E economic model can incentivize users to play and earn. The first comprehensive traffic road system in Decentraland, highly compatible with customer shopping habits and Super Dojrio game. The Meta Gaming Mail is an avant-garde endeavor to blur the boundaries between game and shop activities. The game lives in the mall. The mall needs the game.
The actual product is a track that you walk along to collect coins that can be traded for wearables while a bad techno DJ repeats the instructions on an endless loop. Because space is so tight, even for large plots like this, the track consists mostly of really obnoxious spirals, and the place is infested with bots that idle on the exact same spot until the timer resets and they can collect more coins. It would seem that while $220,000 can get you a lot of stuff, it can't get you an experience worth doing with your own human hands. The actual rules of Super Dojrio are oblique, and the DJ's instructions don't actually help.
Welcome to MetaMine. MetaMine is a Metaverse game event that will begin from 18th November at Meta Gaming Mall, Decentraland. MetaMine is a Metaverse game event that will be...
Guess it's called MetaMine now? As for the mall component, I don't even know what to say. The space is so cluttered with the extreme cyberspace aesthetic that it's barely even legible as a mall, and the whole notion is keel-hauled by the fact that this is a miserable interface for actually buying things, which is the actual purpose of a mall. The result, an empty shopping experience plagued with bots, isn't just a dead mall, it's an undead mall, stuttering along in a parody of life. Now, they did seek a new grant in late 2022, asking for an additional $60,000 USD to expand and revitalize the mall. Unfortunately, the proposal was rejected $3 million to $9 million, with $7.8 million of the no votes coming from 2 people. Sorry, Metagamma Mall. Better luck next time. The Decentraland report is one of the most fascinating elements of Decentraland, and it breaks my heart that we can't give it the time it truly deserves.
Oh my God. I am so grateful. Thank you, brother. He's probably gonna shit on me for whatever reason, but let me just say, I put on a tarp. I got a tarp over me. Let it rain, Dan. Let it rain. He might like me, but he might also just give me that doo-doo blast to the future. Let's go, Dan.
To expand and revitalize the mall. Unfortunately, the proposal was rejected $3 million to $9 million, with $7.8 million of the no votes coming from 2 people. Sorry, Metagamma Mall. Better luck next time. The Decentraland report is one of the most fascinating elements of Decentraland, and it breaks my heart that we can't give it the time it truly deserves. They style themselves as the first ever decentralized news network, reporting on the latest breaking news of the Metaverse. Between grants and private funding, it has received over $250,000 USD, $250,000 of investment. It is an organization operated by Kevin Clark, better known by his handle KevinOnEarth999. We'll let him explain what it means.
Decentralized legend! I freaking like this guy. Listen, jokes aside, as I said, I would definitely be lakeside with this guy. He's gonna shit on me at some point. Has to be. News networks give the public the power to control event coverage, reporters, and how the network will evolve over time. Tokens are distributed to the public based on participation and can be used to purchase event coverage, ad space, and vote on key decisions such as the addition or removal of actual news reporters.
Just to stress this, to highlight it and make sure that you're aware, this is not us catastrophizing or editorializing. The ability for the crowd to fire reporters is an explicit feature.
Imagine if you could use a token to vote off a reporter from the news.
You can buy the ability to fire a reporter, and that's deliberate because it gives the token resale value, which incentivizes participation. The editorial agenda of the Decentraland report is not just nominally available for purchase, it is proudly available for purchase. The Decentraland report is a news outlet that hates journalism. It takes the very messy subject of journalistic independence, the way that journalism often functions as willing collaborators with systemic power, and the reasons why we should be legitimately skeptical, alert, and literate in how we intake media, and uses that to advocate for a radical populism masquerading as neutrality. The logic is that institutions are inherently biased, therefore less institution means less bias, and no institution.
One point that I do want to clarify, exactly, Jumpin' Spider, I was going to say exactly that. You can't buy a report token. So, one big vital error in your understanding, sir. You must earn your report. You should participate to earn experience, sir. You could only earn the report token by either tuning in. There is a video just about that, how to earn report tokens. You can't buy report tokens.
Means no bias. Their trust model is explicitly rooted in their incompetence. Kevin's rhetoric is part and parcel with the conspiratorial thinking that leads people to trust misinformation they found on Facebook, specifically because they found it on a page that gets flagged by Facebook as misinformation. It shares a table with the belief that reporters exist to deceive the public, and so the only journalism you can trust comes from those who hate journalism.
With this, now he's saying that people hate journalism. He's imposing, that's a strong projection right there. Decentralized approach to news. The public can take control of global narratives, focus on fact-based reporting, versus bias-based reporting, which is focused more on getting views than telling the truth.
Kevin's vision for the news is downright dystopian. It's a killer writing prompt if you're in need of ideas. So what's the product? You want to see some journalism so unprofessional that it would make even the writers at The Defiant cringe?
Any giveaways? Yeah, for sure, man. If you hang around, I'll definitely do a giveaway, man. So we just hop on in right here to Dice Masters. Highly encourage you guys, come on through. I just want to show support to Dice Masters, you know.
And then we'll kind of move it into the auction phase with
explicitly rude journalism.
Encourage you guys, come on through. I just want to show support to Dice.
My music is being used there. That music was not licensed from me. This is crossing a legal boundary here.
Any giveaways? Yeah, for sure, man. If you hang.
This is the other thing. He's using content from the channel without permission to use the content. I want to see more, but he's also using the music. That's kind of
around. I'll definitely do a giveaway, man. So we just hop on in right here to Dice Masters. Highly encourage you guys, come on through. I just want to show support to Dice Masters, you know.
And then we'll kind of move it into the auction phase with
Wait, this video right here is the first ever live stream I ever did. The first ever live stream I ever did. He's like, you want to see some unprofessional reporter? Yeah, literally, I had literally financed a computer from Best Buy like a week before that and decided to start this because nobody was streaming in Decentraland. Like on Twitch, there was nobody there. And I decided that's what I was gonna go try out. Like, damn.
You know, hopping.
At least use some older content.
From gallery to gallery.
That sounds like a great time.
As recommended by Shawnee, upon the passing of this grant, we agree to pay back 10% of our
like
monthly
this is
revenue to the DAO.
This is a community effort. Just people who just took this new experience, new journey of saying, I'm gonna start live streaming. I'm gonna start, sharing with the public what's actually happening on a day-to-day basis in the metaverse. And this guy is like talking down on the. That's kind of sad. Like how, this person who intellectualizes themselves can't even actually do their homework to know that you can't actually buy the report token. That, like, this person so highly intellectualizes themselves. I'm sorry, Dan. All the respect to you. Not trying to, but like, if you're gonna at least, you're clearly taking only the content which fulfills your narrative, and you didn't even take the opportunity. You talk about hating journalism. At least we interview people. You didn't even talk to me or any of us to even get the information that you got here. You literally found the first things that you could, and congratulations.
Perpetuity until the grant amount is paid back to the DAO. That's amazing. That to me is epic.
It's just Twitch streams.
No fucking way! Do you fucking hear that, motherfuckers? That's what the fucking Metaverse was missing! Meta!
He, by the way, cut out an amazing set that happened right before that. Like, this person has no idea what happened just before that, okay? Literally, like, just before that, it was not Ozzy, one of those bands from the Megadeth. Right before that, Megadeth had just literally thrown down like one of the biggest rock sets unannounced. They were just doing a sound check, and randomly this dude came on here. Like, people were just like, what the fuck is happening? Like, he cut out the whole cultural significance of that moment. That is very true. Holy shit, that is very freaking true. Wow. I appreciate that he left my Twitch handle in there. That was Big Dave. Says Big Dave is talking. Listen the fuck up. Wow. That was wow. Wow. That was sound check. You gotta be kidding me. That is crazy how out of context that shot is. That is crazy. He literally, imagine someone like did a front flip in front of you and then they only recorded the reaction and people were like, what is this person so excited about? That was freaking sound check. You gotta be kidding me.
I know, right? It's pretty disappointing that after all that talk about the philosophy of journalism, this ship runs aground over the fact that nothing remotely worth reporting happens in Decentraland in the first place. So the risk of journalistic malpractice is functionally zero. Despite the lofty ambitions of the network, these guys are ultimately harmless. They're just small streamers cosplaying as reporters while hanging out with their handful of regulars talking about the video game they like to play. That said, there's still a story here. They still raised $250,000, right? Did that at least pay someone? Well, no. Reporters aren't paid.
Whoa. Now I want to see what he says here.
As such, they get paid in the report token and they get a cut of the organization's monthly revenue on Expand, a crypto meets Twitter meets Patreon platform. At the time of writing, that's around $120 total. Expand takes a 10% cut, there's another 10% cut for their grant repayment, a phrase that shouldn't exist, and then the remainder is split 9 ways. There's the possibility.
By the way, he very quickly skims over this. That 10% of what we use in our funds goes to the grant repayment. That's not a grant. You dinguses, that's a loan. Literally, this guy has no freaking clue. Wow. We literally choose to pay back 10% of our community revenue because we choose to return the value back to the community to support future artists in the community. So literally, yes, we understand we don't have to repay, but we choose to repay. And it's not a loan, it's a grant. We are choosing to pay back that grant with the value created by our community. You're very smart though.
Ability of one-time donations on top of that, which get cut the same way, but on average the individual reporters are looking at about $10 a month. This isn't a great deal, especially since the streamer...
Think about it, $10 a month. First of all of us reporters, we never got into this because we wanted to make money. We started to do it because we just wanted to share the news about the Metaverse to the world. He also misses out that reporters earn wearables for completing certain number of events. So while everyone was clicking the things at Wondermine, I said, let's give them something more productive to do that actually creates value in this world, which is to collect our history and to share exciting events that they're being a part of with other people in the world who clearly don't understand the culture. And so they would get their own one-of-one wearable after their 26th report. So it wasn't just like, this person just doesn't understand the culture.
Reporters need to provide their own equipment. So it's no surprise that Kevin has failed to draw in any Pulitzer Prize winners. Who he's ended up with is an ensemble of Decentraland users who just want to grow their stream by associating with an org. They're all broadcasting from their personal Twitch streams. What they get from the org is the DCLR branding, which, it doesn't draw in the crowds. Every single stream we caught had extremely low viewership, almost always fewer than 10 viewers, often under 5. Kevin's personal and DCLR brand.
It's a niche community, folks. A lot of people also come for the VODs. And let's be honest, I have 6 viewers right now, but people watching, have I ever done this for the viewers? Have I ever, if I was really doing this for viewers, there's a lot of things I would be doing to attract that. I'm not doing this for the viewers, Dan. I'm doing this because I'm an authentic person who represents a message that I stand by in a culture that is something that I'm grateful to be a part of. I'm not doing this because 1,000 people are trying to tune into my stream. I'm doing this because I appreciate the 1 or 2, 1-2 people. For me, it doesn't mean that it's more than 1,000 people. What matters is that I'm authentic to myself. Tobik, I'm actually grateful for this. People here are with nearly 1 million subscribers are so influenced by the things that I'm creating is freaking amazing. I'm not stressed. I'm a very adaptable person. I'm also part Italian, and that part of me, is loud, is active. I think anyone who tunes into this channel knows that I'm a pretty active person, right?
Branded YouTube channels don't fare any better. A video is a success if it breaks 100 views.
Okay, so if you go to the channel, my actual channel, he failed to know that DCL report channel was created only a few months ago. Whereas this is my main channel, and if you go to my main channel, there are DCL videos here that have 24,000 views, 16,000 views. How to enter the metaverse, 10,000 views. 4.9 thousand. There are plenty of videos here. So again, another situation of this person not really doing their research.
On Kevin on Earth, did the money go?
Where did the money go, folks?
Okay. The reporters only get paid from the expand pot. DCLR doesn't buy them lights or webcams. The only thing left to even spend it on is Decentraland itself.
That's beautiful.
The Decentraland report.
Dude, what has this guy ever built? Does he not see how beautiful this thing is?
Is the perfect showcase of Web3's ability to cause money to just evaporate. The build is called the Metaflower, which is a reference to an NFT of a super yacht from other Metaverse candidates.
What? That is more information. This is not a reference to Sandbox or whatever. This is a reference to the fact that through a seed that we first created in our very first build. If you don't remember, obviously you don't remember because you weren't there and you don't do your homework. In our very first build, we built this and it had a little seed at the bottom, and it was designed to be a flower that was blossoming out of the digital soil of the metaverse. And that through attention, love, and caring about what you do more than what people's opinions are. Clearly, this guy cares more about people's opinions than the things he's created, because I don't even know what this guy's created. But the fact that he can look at this and he has no care for art.
Sandbox that sold. Know what? Doesn't matter.
And he's misleading his community to think that he even knows where, this guy is almost it's it's a little, lost a little respect for me on that one.
Using allegedly very expensive tech, the flower is intended to develop and bloom as the number of subscribers on the expand page grows. Of course, we need to take Kevin's word on that because the count is currently 22 followers towards the goal of 10,000, so the building has remained in its initial form. What we're left with is this.
He's also not talking about how majority of those funds, I'm sure some people from his audience are here. Please bring your questions. Absolutely. I'm sure what he hasn't even referenced is that majority of those funds went towards building our reward automation system. It wasn't towards building. That build was the cherry on top towards what it really took for us, which was 6 months to build this automation, this entire reward automation system. So that is for you to be able to distribute our own cryptocurrency token, for us to have our own store where you can use the token that you earn for being a part of the community and completing bounties. Like, this was developed over 6 months with a team of developers. I wouldn't expect this person to know what it takes to build a fucking Lincoln log cabin, let alone what it takes to build a decentralized reward distribution system that ties into a metaverse space, whilst running a tech company full time. Like, you have no clue, bro. Do your homework. You could have called me, bro. I could have saved you the embarrassment.
We've got walls laced with Kevin's prized NFTs, 2 platforms that I am assured are the studios where presenters are intended to stand, the decision room where the DCLR DAO members will meet once the DAO gets some, and then we have the butthole tunnel that takes us...
Yes! Oh my god, that is hilarious. The butthole tunnel.
...to an alien in a rice patty hat who tells us that we need to save the...
Clearly doesn't recognize an I'm a Degen, one of the most OG interoperable NFTs within Web3 culture. But the racist...
2 platforms that I am assured are the studios where presenters are intended to stand, the decision room where the DCLR DAO members will meet once the DAO gets some, and then we have the butthole tunnel that takes us to an alien in a rice patty hat who tells us that we need to save the
That's mildly racist.
Decentraland report by gathering news juice, and it turns out that news juice means please follow Kevin and Pals on Twitter. Wait.
Tell me that isn't a genius user experience. That, I think, is an amazing and discovery experience for people who've never been to the metaverse before.
Kevin's in here twice.
He definitely did a good deal of surface level research on the report, but the minimum he could have done is give me a call, bro.
Strangely, there's no news in the DCLR HQ. What they do give you is a link to an entirely different 3D web application called OnCyber. So you're sitting there, computer frying from running Decentraland, and if you want to see some news at the Metaverse News building, Kevin wants you to open up another 3D site that loads up 24 YouTube videos at once and then crashes Firefox entirely. It's absurd.
This guy doesn't know how to internet.
Needless to say, the Decentraland build
that's me as Jay Dilla.
Contributes extremely little to the utility of running a news network. We don't know precisely how much this whole thing cost beyond about $35,000 for the land, but given that the $127,000 in grants are reasonably well accounted for, it would seem that, after the boring stuff like building the website and Twitch assets, this as a whole represents Kevin's $126,000. So let's focus on those grants. Kevin received 4 grants from the Decentraland DAO.
Let's see.
2 were to hire an editor for DCLR. Both paid the editor $50 per edit in mana. Then there was a $5,000 grant in September of 2021 to create unique in-game jackets for reporters as a milestone reward for 6 months' work. And then there was the big one, a $120,000 US grant in stablecoins to build the back end for DCLR's reward system. Since decentralized news is all about rewarding participation, including viewership, you need to build that system. Pretty much the same tech that handles Twitch drops to service a community of, like, 30 people. The decentralized philosophy of the project demands this type of massive, inefficient system exist as a starting point. You can't expand into these solutions naturally. So Kevin spent $35,000 on land, potentially $91,000 on the studio.
Inaccurate. I definitely did not spend $35,000. Well, $35,000 was spent, but it wasn't from the grant. Let's just be clear. Like, that was land that we had before the grant. We had already built on that land before the grant, and anyone who's been around knows that.
Build, $5,000 on jackets, and $120,000 on this reward system, and then went back to the grant program looking for another $240,000, 32 of which was allotted to reporter equipment and included salaries for a marketing director, content manager, graphic designer, and so on.
Decentraland doesn't have its own media team. So yeah, you're welcome for wanting to put my effort into building a media machine to bring users into Decentraland.
In what would seem to have been the only lucid moment in the fever dream of the grant scheme, Kevin was told no. 2 more reduced proposals have also been rejected. You know what we haven't talked about in a while?
Another thing he didn't talk about is how I pioneered the shutting down of the frickin' DAO. Like, I've always been at the forefront of that. I was the first person to frickin' have a grant approved, and I was also one of those people who showed continued perseverance after getting shut down. And it was soon after that that the entire DAO was shut down. It wasn't just about one. Every proposal at that point was being shut down. So I think it's important for people to know the context of which a lot of this stuff was happening. But honestly, I'm kind of impressed at the quality of this reporting. You know, there are certain minute details which aren't necessarily accurate, but not bad. He could have definitely done that last 10% if he had just given me a call, bro. But nonetheless, I think it's pretty solid.
Chocolate.
Is it legal to him expose your accounting? Yeah, it's public info. It's on the blockchain. It's okay for, and I actually, a lot of the information that he's giving is information that I actually put out on my own channel. So for those of you who might want to get the full story in terms of what my experience was in the DCL DAO, you can go ahead and visit our DAO report presentation right here. And you can watch this and it will show you the entire experience from my perspective.
I mean, sure, Lint has their metaverse, but surely chocolate giant Hershey wouldn't be left behind. Well, if you've got a craving, you're in luck. Just a hop, skip, and a jump from the Sugar Club, you can experience Hersheyverse, the official metaverse holiday home of Hershey chocolates of India and the Philippines.
I just want to say right there, how long? I think I had a solid 9 minutes of that. Epic. Holy moly. I think I need to link people to this, even though there's a lot of stuff that is inaccurate. I think I need to. What do you think, folks? I gotta come over here. And I want to say, all due respect, all much love. Everyone has their opinion. I think that, like, I'm actually really, really, really excited at the coverage we got here, folks. Do you understand, like, for me, he makes some valid points. I absolutely think this guy's making some valid points. I really enjoyed
him explain.
I really enjoyed the opportunity to get, like, a honest, without me in the room, opinion on, and I'm not expecting people to right off the bat, especially not having the information from me and talking to me about what has been done here, what the goals were, like the intricacies of what happens in the back end before ever, obviously
so cluttered with the extreme cyberspace aesthetic that it's barely even legible as a mall, and the whole notion is keel-hauled by the fact that this is a miserable interface for actually buying.
Listen, this guy is a fudster. His job is literally known fudster. His job is to shine, fear, uncertainty, and doubt on things that are relevant within the Web3 space. This guy has 793,000 subscribers.
Things, which is the actual purpose of a mall. The result, an empty shopping experience plagued with bots.
793,000 subscribers, folks.
Isn't just a dead mall, it's an undead mall, stuttering along in a parody of life. Now, they did seek a new grant in late 2022, asking for an additional 60,000 USD to expand and revitalize the mall. Unfortunately, the proposal was rejected 3 million to 9 million, with 7.8 million of the no votes coming from 2 people. Sorry, Metagamma Mall. Better luck next time.
Sorry, Metagaming Mall. Better luck next time. Like, how much it took for him to make this video, I respect. I respect that. How much time does it take for people to make things like Metagaming Mall? I don't think he comprehends what it takes to make something like Metagaming Mall. Maybe I just need to see what you've built, fine sir. What have you built? Other than a very, very strong opinion.
The Decentraland report is one of the most fascinating elements of Decentraland, and it breaks my heart that we can't give it the time it truly deserves.
Listen, that is worth a freaking... Somebody clip that right there. Somebody clip that right there. If you ask me, this guy who is complete fudster on Decentraland says this is the most fascinating element of Decentraland.
Decentraland report is one of the most fascinating elements of Decentraland, and it breaks my heart that we can't give it the time it truly deserves.
Then let's do a follow-up episode, Dan. Dan, hit me up, bro. Come on. All respect, love. I mean, I think you know my personality at this point, clearly. You know what we doing. You know what we doing. You've seen a couple of my streams. Dan, I wish you would comment in chat, Dan, if you're there. Dan, are you there? If you're there, Dan, comment in chat. People, drop a 9 in chat and let Dan know he's welcome here. I want everybody to know. Drop a 9 in chat to show your respect for Dan, your respect and appreciation for Dan. Dan, you're tuned in. I know you are, bro. You just dropped this. Let's see. Just not too long ago. Dan, you're welcome here. You can see chat is showing some love. All 7 of us. I think you can hold all of us off. But the fact that the most fascinating part of Decentraland, I am not for the masses. I am not about a million people. I will never have, don't expect me today, tomorrow, next month. One day when the world evolves, we might have 1 million people here on this channel. But the world's not going to have 1 million people on this channel right now. I don't think people put things on video and put 9 minutes, a 9-minute clip. I don't think people say that out of irony. I think he's being absolutely honest. I think Dan is very much so amazed at what we've built. I don't think Dan has ever built anything like this before, and he's impressed. The guy is impressed. He's like, how the hell did you get $250,000 to build a live action role play version of reporting? That is a dystopian version of, how did you do that? I'll tell you, Dan. You know how I did that? Because I'm an artist, Dan. I'm a freaking artist, okay? How much do you think the Mona Lisa is worth? Is it not just paint on canvas? He mentions me later in the video as well. Oh, we got to get the later in the video. Am I in the conclude? Oh. Dude, this guy is I am your teacher, Dan. Dan, you have more homework to do, Dan. I give this, if I'm going to grade you as your teacher, Dan, I'm going to give this a B+. I'm going to give this a B+. You could have got an A- if you included user interview or interviews with anybody. Is there any interview portion of this? Now, I have to say, even my experiences, but either way, I'm going into the metaverse so people can actually see, like, you're not actually going into the metaverse. You're just taking little clips. I see you explored the Decentraland report a little bit, but Dan, if you wanted to get an A-, you need to interview some users. Okay, I see. Dan got the video of when I was on NBC. He did. Let's check it out. That's why Dan had to get me. He was like, listen.
It does here, and it will do in about a year, I believe.
The spine of this story is built not on what Decentraland did or was doing, but what it will do. All of the features that will be implemented and benchmarks it will hit. Journalists and vloggers who very understandably don't know the deep lore of Decentraland's development still mention VR as a thing that just hasn't been implemented yet, despite the feature being scrapped.
Once VR glasses are integrated, the experience is going to be on a whole other level.
Decentraland craves legitimacy, but it can subsist on crumbs. It is a speculative real estate scheme which is rapidly approaching the Nigerian prince level of self-selection. That means that for its purposes, all it needs is for people to discuss it and for the conversation to feature the defenses we've been discussing. It's just a prototype. It will improve. The metaverse is inevitable. Because this reporting loads the basis for investment advice like this to sound believable.
Land is hitting all-time highs for value, and people are asking, like, you know, can people really afford to buy these plots for a lot? Yes, because there's going to be a large commercial and business entities that can make a lot more than what they're going to pay for this land. They know it has long-term ramifications in the industry, so it's a great investment.
If you took Kevin's advice at the time, you'd be in the red less than 2 weeks later, have lost half your...
What? I would expect someone like that to say that, because he needs to ask, how did I get the 120, how did I get the other half of the $250,000, bro? How did I get the other half of the $250,000? It's called being a good creator. It's called being a good business person. The value of land, if you've been tuned into this channel, you know the value of land is not in the speculative value, because most people don't even know how to use it. Imagine having a hammer and saying the value of a hammer is only based on the speculation of the hammer. Of course, the value of a freaking hammer is going to go down. Now imagine the value of a hammer to somebody who knows how to build. Well, goodness gracious, Dan, you know what? You just went down to a B. You're misleading people here as to, but damn, that's pretty cool. I'm on his freaking graph. Look at that. This is freaking cool.
Investment 2 months later and be down 80 to 90% today. That is the danger posed.
Nice. That is amazing.
By not.
That is amazing. Another thing that he doesn't realize is that by creating in Decentraland, by creating a really great brand in Decentraland, you can attract other builders and other brands to build things next to you to increase the value of your land. That's the actual way to grow your value of your land. It's not by buying it and waiting and sitting on your hands. The way to grow the value of your land is to actually build something really dope on your land that attracts other brands that are of value. Now, if you've ever been to the Decentraland Plaza, Decentraland Report area, then you know that right next to our build, soon after, was launched Pline Plaza by Philip Pline, one of the most worldly known luxury fashion designers. Do you know what that did for the offers on my land? You know, like, I was able to, at that point, start renting out lands, like advertising on my land for a much higher price. This person does not understand business. Holy, you know, like, this is just the kind of person that's gonna, if you listen to their advice, they will probably suggest you go be a teacher or work for a corporation. You have to work for somebody else who knows as much as he does. Because people like him, no offense, they have such a strong opinion. They will always tell you the right way to do things. They will never seek to imagine how your ideas might see a part of the ecosystem that he might not perceive. Why? Because You see that little thing up there? Oh, yes. You have to be careful for super opinionated people. Even myself, folks, do not take my opinion as this is the way the metaverse is. Go find your opinion. That's been my goal from day one with the Decentraland report, with Imagine on Earth. I'm here to show you the tools and give you everything you need in order to make use of this. This isn't about what I think. This is about showing you the possibilities on how you can create value and tap into the value that you can see.
Nonchalant.
But anyone who takes the perspective where there's no value, and I believe there's value in everything, even in this individual's perspective. So let's keep listening.
Coverage of Decentraland, boosting the narrative that major brands and mass adoption are right around the corner. There's no
major brands were right around the corner, and I secured the freaking bag, bro.
No such thing as bad publicity for Decentraland. It continues to subsist through performative hype and deception, but Decentraland needs to be recognized for what it is, and we can't give it the easy way out. Decentraland is not and has never been a VR experience. You cannot order a pizza in Decentraland.
There is a VR client, but yes, VR for me has never been the way to experience Decentraland. It's never been the immediate vision for Decentraland. Everyone knows that.
Decentraland is not the future. It has never and will never be worth $1 billion.
Now, that is fair to say. And it's fair to say that, first of all, no one should expect that this market is going to go to the moon anytime soon, because what you're seeing is just the general consensus of how people feel. I can say if he were, I wish that he had me on, because I could definitely shed some light on what I think are the biggest drawbacks from what Decentraland's true potential is, and where I feel like opportunities are being lost, and why I definitely I won't say diversified, but put it this way, I've definitely looked for different places to create, because the metaverse is not the metaverse is not just Decentraland, folks. Decentraland is like one highway, you want to travel cross country, you can go on many highways, and maybe some days you want to go down the interstate. Maybe some days, there are different things for different people, different strokes for different folks. Maybe some days you want chocolate ice cream. Maybe some days you want strawberry ice cream. Maybe you feel like going really fast on something. Maybe one day you want to go on a jet ski. Maybe one day you want to, there's different strokes for different folks. But I think that Decentraland's biggest fallback, and where I've stepped away from Decentraland to say, I think I see myself creating in more than just or not evangelizing Decentraland any further. Let's put it that way. I've decided not to evangelize Decentraland any further. The reason why I was evangelizing Decentraland is because it was the easiest place for creators to access their creative empowerment and creative freedom. At that time, it's where I was accessing my creative freedom. It's where I was able to create a culture, create a brand. You can see we created experiences. Look at this. Everybody was where we were all just pretending to be robots and running around Decentraland. We were creating memorable experiences. I created a hat that was meant to make noise. We created culture. That's what Decentraland, but is the culture of Web3 and Metaverse going to continue? Look at this pickle. Look at me hanging out with this pickle. Okay? Culture. Okay? Culture is sensitive like an egg. You have to take care of it. You have to nurture it. It's not like this freaking thing you buy on the market and it goes to $1 million and you sell the egg and that's that. It's nurtured over time. Look at this. This is the day we first launch the DCL report HQ at this spot. If I were to tell you, Dan, how this ended up getting built, it wasn't through DAO funding, but you don't have that part of the story, Dan. There's a lot of part of the story, and I would be happy to join you. And yeah, stuff breaks here in the metaverse. Can you imagine how much a Ford Model T broke? If you wanted to ride a Jeep today through a mountain, you could absolutely do that. If you tried to drive a Ford Model T through the mountain, you might try, but it's going to break. And you're going to learn something, and you might innovate on those wheels, and you might say, no, we got to get up that mountain. There are people who care about getting up the mountain, and there are people who care about their opinion. I don't care about my opinion. I care about getting up the mountain. I could be wrong. And I'm okay with being wrong 1,000 times. But if I get up that mountain once, it's going to change the game. Yes, Grismal, a pickle. I believe it's more worth getting up the mountain than having the right opinion. And Dan, there's many ways to get up the mountain. And there are many explorers. And yes, many of us might be foolish. Some of us just want to take a picture with a pickle. Okay, Dan? And to you, you might just see a man with a pickle. But actually, what this picture is the first time I ever bridged a Decentraland plot into on Cyber. This is the first time I bridged between world spaces. Not only, and so people could go into Decentraland, discover this, and beam into another world. For me, you're reading about these things in books, bro, and I'm living it. If you want to learn, I hope that you continue to watch the stream. I hope you continue to hang out. But I tell you, it's happening. Whether you know it, whether you like it or not, whether you seek to understand from a first person or from outside the fishbowl, this is happening. It's happening. It is absolutely happening. I had a fun time reacting to this, folks. And actually, I'm on LinkedIn right now as well. So the goal of today was to... The goal of today was actually to stream on LinkedIn. I'm streaming on LinkedIn right now. Technically, I'm bleeding into that time, but honestly, I was not expecting to be featured this morning. I woke up this morning and found that I had been featured on this hour. This is a movie. This is a movie about the metaverse. This is an hour. It's a documentary, an hour and 50 minutes. And I have to say, it's been an honor to be included in this, Dan. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. I hope you do a part 2 and you include me in this. So, I do have another theme topic to get into, so I can't do more. But y'all, you know what? Go ahead. I'm going to follow Dan. Thank you for the feature. If you do a part 2, I am 100% down for an interview. Heart. All right, I let Dan know. Y'all, go ahead and please, all 10 of you who are a part of this community, please go ahead and hit a retweet on this. Let's all just retweet that, comment on that. Let's let Dan know that we definitely are down for an interview. That was a good time. I'm going to sub to the channel too. The report, you know what I've realized is that actually all things serve their point in time. Even a tree in the forest, the very first tree. Imagine the forest starts from one tree, right? Do you think that very first tree in the forest still exists today? Probably not. The reality is that first tree was probably the tallest and was the first one to get cut down. But there's still a massive forest there today. But it is still thanks to that first tree that we have that entire forest. So does the tree not existing today still mean that it failed? No, because it is thanks to that first tree that we have an entire forest. Maybe a handful of first trees. Those first trees are no longer there, folks. They have been cut down. They have been cut down for their value, for their worth, for their wood, for what they were worth. What was the wood of Decentraland Report? We learned, we grew, we created content that was so influential. People are still learning from it to this day. 2 years of content from the earliest stages of the metaverse. We solved a problem that I knew needed to be solved, and we literally, on the drop of a dime, solved that problem. We create with literally no funding, we were able to get a community of people to agree to capture that content. We went and were able to raise over $250,000 in funding to build that. Folks, come on now. We did something amazing there. Absolutely, absolutely amazing. And to whatever extent, the Decentraland Report, the token still exists. The page still exists. The community still exists. Who knows? Something could still happen. You never know. I'm not leaving anything out to possibility. Right now, what am I doing? I'm doing 2 things. I've evolved. I've shifted my attention to 2 things. Taking everything I've learned from running the Decentraland Report and everything I've built to build a community that I think is more in line for the next adoption curve. Folks, I'm not here to, I'm not a stubborn mule. I'm not here to sit in one place. If you're watching this channel, then you know I'm always going to stay on the front line. I'm always going to be playing with what is going to be the thing that I personally see on the next horizon. And for me, the culture of Web3, the culture of Metaverse in its biggest form is not necessarily going to be happening in this Decentraland space, in this I'm going to build my own space. Why? Because after they built the Model T, what was the next thing they did? Having a car was just having a car, right? I'm sure there were plenty of people like Dan who were saying how the car is so pointless. Why would I use a car when it's just going to break down or run out of gas? I can have a horse. How stupid is it that I have to actually go to a place to get gas? My horse can just eat grass off the side of the road. How stupid is this? How pointless are cars? But eventually, people like Dan realized that, oh, shiznit, I can actually not compete in the modern day market by riding horses. Or maybe in their lifetime, they might not see that change so swiftly. They might be able to get by with just riding horses the rest of their life, and that's a possibility. And there's people who get by with just using the phone, that they don't use apps. And trust me, we all live in different technological eras. The FBI, the CIA, the government, you know how many, they probably live 10, 15 years in the future technologically. And if, they can do things much more efficiently. But this is the thing, the gap between those people and ourselves is closing thanks to these types of technologies like the creative economy, blockchain, AI. Now I'm not going to say that the gap between us and, the government isn't going to continue to be drastically far. I mean, we see a lot of things online now, people saying, all sorts of that. By the way, that was hilarious. All sorts of things like aliens, sightings and stuff, like all that stuff, who knows, just cover up stuff. I don't know. I believe in aliens, but whether or not, all cases are not real, right? But this is an evolving landscape. I don't think that Decentraland is going to be your one-stop shop. For all intents and purposes, it could be that it does continue to fulfill its potential. Has it fulfilled its fullest potential? Obviously not. What is its biggest risk? Its biggest risk is imbalance in the community, in the culture. Its biggest risk is imbalance. And that is an imbalance in an imbalance in that the people who have the most economic value in the community, i.e. the casinos, let's just put that out there. Casinos But let's just not put it on just them. There's districts, there's people in the shadows who do have millions of dollars of mana, millions of dollars of land. It's not just the casinos. There are special interest groups that definitely have their own perspective, their own view of what the metaverse is going to be. And what does that view mean to the pioneer, the creator? It's not necessarily in alignment. As you can see from Mr. Dan's proposal, if you go into the video here of probably what he watched to learn a lot of his information, you can learn about how all of the proposals that get voted down, they get voted down by massive whales, people who have millions of dollars, who have a lot of value in the ecosystem. These are the people who are ultimately voting this down on the large in the large scheme of things. People with 10, 9, 4 million voting power, they have massive amounts of land, who are ultimately, like, for instance, I'm pretty sure on that vote, a quarter of that voting power came from the casinos. Now you might be asking yourself, Kevin, why did the casinos vote against you? Frankly, because I am against gambling. I'm against anybody who promotes gambling. I am not against people who gamble. I am the person who is against. I'm not against the sinner. I'm against the sin, right? I'm also not a radicalist. I'm not here to convert you to a faith, but I'm against gambling. Gambling is something I think is just takes advantage of people. It is one of the great business harams, or the business sins, is people who take advantage of other people from desperation. And in a way, you could say fudsters are a part of that spectrum. There's no black and white here. But people who take advantage of people through their desperation are the lowest form of business people, are the lowest form of value creators. Why? Because your value creation is from taking advantage of people who are desperate. Anyone who creates value for themselves in their life by taking advantage of people from a desperation that is synthesized, and by creating a false narrative to generate FUD, you are synthesizing desperation. By you generating money through those views, you are literally feeding off of the desperation of people. That is wrong. That is not value creation. That is value destruction. You're destroying the larger potential value somebody has in their life and as a person and as a society by synthesizing desperation through your FUD. And that's the same thing that casinos do. It's the same thing that the cigarette companies do. They synthesize a sense of desperation. Because trust me, desperation is a real thing in this world. People are desperate. Some people are desperate for food. People are desperate for water. They're desperate for safety. They're desperate for therapeutic support. They're desperate for somebody to be by their side. They're desperate for a better way to do their therapy. They're desperate for better health. There's people who are really desperate for things, and those are the real things that we try to solve. Like, people say, like, entrepreneurship is about problem solving. That's true. But what is at the root of solving a problem is a sense of desperation. There are different kinds of problems in this world, right? Like, I have a problem that I don't have a freaking new cup of coffee in my hand. Am I so desperate that I'm going to get up and I'm going to go fill it up? Or maybe if I'm running out of coffee, I'm going to go get that right now? No. So as an entrepreneur, I'm looking to solve the problem that has the greatest sense of desperation around it. But then you from there can find the two kinds of entrepreneurs. The ones who synthesize desperation, and that could be either because they do it knowingly or unknowingly. They could be doing this unknowingly. They don't realize that they're synthesizing desperation to make money. there's a saying, you know, judge them not, for they know not what they have done. Like, I believe that. I'm not here to judge anybody, but but an awareness of other people allows you to know who you want to be. I thank God for everybody who's wronged me, because it is those people who have taught me best to know who I want to be. You can watch a movie, you can watch a show and see, and, you know, have like a third person narrative story that somebody puts forward that maybe teaches you, but there's nothing that beats having the real life experience that'll teach you from people who've wronged you, from horrible things that's happened in your life, people you've associated with maybe. Those people, yes, you're like, God, how do these people come? Why do you bring these people in your life? Why do they bring me in life? The greatest gift those people have ever given me is telling me who I don't want to be. And one of the reasons why these casinos voted me down heavily, and why clearly, because I was asked to promote and to advertise and to make videos in the casinos. And from day one, I said, no, I'm never going to do that. I made one video actually at the very start. I take that back. I made one video at the very start. And after that, I kept it up actually, because it was a video that just showed how you lose no matter what. It was like a parody video. It was like called Bet on Red. You know, like I went to one of those roulette tables and I just always bet on red to see what would happen, and I lost all my, you know, all the mana, right? It was just like, hey, here's what it's actually like in the metaverse piece. And after that, they asked, oh yeah, will you make some video? And I said no, you know. And like, so after that, like, I pretty much was very clear, and I told everybody on the Decentraland report at some point, like, you can't stream in the metaverse, in the casinos for a long time. And it's funny, on these videos that I've made about Web3, about content, all that stuff, like, look, this one right here, there's no comments, right? This one I did right here is a game changer. No comments on this video on TikTok. Folks, I get people don't want TikTok banned. I do not trust TikTok. I'm not gonna lie, I use TikTok. I'm posting on TikTok, but maybe not for long, because I do not trust TikTok.
All right, we're here.
Even this video that had 780 plays.
All right.
No comments. Now look, I started to take videos that are, look, you know, you and I know you can't advertise betting. You can't advertise casinos, gambling. You cannot advertise gambling. This is a known fact. You cannot, there are laws in the US around, you can't advertise for gambling. But as usual, people will find a way around it. And so people in the metaverse, like DG, the most frequented place in Decentraland right now, the most frequented place is the casinos. The people who've gotten funded most. Dude, this Dan guy did not even cover. Who's gotten the most funding from Decentraland? The casinos. He missed a very crucial part. Jumpin' Spider, would you have listened to this? Did you listen to the full? Did he mention that DG got $1 million from Decentraland's DAO for their token? He talked about the Decentraland report and how people buy the token. Actually, people buy DG. I wonder if this guy gambles. I mean, I pretty much, this video, I did a whole response video. I think I mean, how long was his thing? This stream is already as long as his, so for me, you can clip it right here, Dan. This is my rebuttal video. I'm gonna post this online as a rebuttal video. If anybody from that channel, Folding Ideas, whatever, they want to get a different perspective. That was like the little trumpet sound that he made in the video. You know, you're more than welcome to drop by. Kevin on Earth 999 across all channels. But yeah, basically what I was trying to get at is how crazy it is that I started stitching these videos because I started getting these videos on TikTok that were like, oh, I just doubled my money. I just won $1 million on this poker thing. And I'm like, very interesting. Like, they're promoting gambling now and they're advertising gambling not by random videos, but by making random accounts that post videos of people making money gambling. And they're putting that on TikTok. And look at this. Look at the comments that I'm getting on this. More comments than I've ever gotten on any video I've ever done on TikTok. Gambling is not that big of a deal, guy. This person responded, you live in denial. Nah, dog, your fragile brain can't comprehend that there's nothing wrong with gambling itself. And they're in this big back and forth with this random guy that's trying, and like, look, a lot of you guys don't even have $100 to spare to gamble. I love gambling. I win every time. Dude, these people are using TikTok to promote and create desperation around gambling. And do you think that this message, that this truth is going to get out to the masses? No, it's going to get out to the 3 people who are watching right now.
I became a millionaire.
But even if I'm able to bring this to light, look at this. I stitched another video right here. The video here, the night I became a millionaire, betting on MMAs.
Betting on MMA.
So they're covering all sorts of things. Sports, gambling, poker. And this connects to what I'm talking about Decentraland. The metaverse right now, the people who are left in Decentraland, most of the people, not all of the people, are the people who are into gambling, are into spending a lot of their time spending their time on these games on that, and let's say we already know, like, to get a wearable that they might sell. It's kind of like that they might sell. Like, a lot of the culture around Web3, around Decentraland right now is not around music, art, creators. It's about gambling. And gaming is this closest bridge gray area where the mechanics of gaming can be interwoven with the mechanics of gambling. In such a gray area, like, let's be real. The greatest, the people who made the most money in Web3 are the people who've operated within those gray areas. There was a long time that the casinos of Decentraland were operating without any sort of, like, regulatory oversight. On the and they say clearly at the bottom of their thing that says, hey, this is a beta app. If you lose your money, good luck. If you watch my video of covering the casino and using this that one time, like 2 years ago, look, it says the same thing at the bottom that is said 2 years ago. And this is a liability protection. Look, in very small writing. This is in beta. If you encounter a bug, and you can look in there and in their terms and services, because it's in beta, if you lose your money, like, it just doesn't work, then, they're not liable to anything. Let's see. If you're in the US, you can't gamble. You can't use mana, but they stopped that in the US side. But if you're in other places, in other countries, you still can. If you're in other countries, you still can, folks. So literally, there is this culture that is at battle. I wouldn't even say at battle. It's competing for the attention and for viewership with here's the thing. A lot of the people who run these casinos and they like music, they like art, they like culture. They're all about that. They will even bring art and music events into their casinos, right? So it's not about the people, folks. It's not about the people who are doing this. It's about the ethics behind this form of value, quote unquote, value creation, which I actually don't think it's value creation. I think it's value destruction. It's a value cannibalism. Things like this cannibalize the true value of the economy and is meant only to leverage capitalistic, individualistic strategies over societal benefit, the benefit of over the benefit of society. And often misleading to give you the hope that you might escape your desperation, which they synthesize, i.e., I want to be just like this guy and make a millionaire by betting on a fight that is going to be, they want to make you feel desperate. If tonight I can put, here you go, here's another one right here. What I think there's like this one right here. He just turned a free roll into $35,000. Look, it was like the video was like, oh, the guy had a free roll on the board and he got $35,000. Like, just go to the casino. Even if you don't spend money, you just go there because you might get a free roll and you might get like, this is the way they're finding ways around regulation and the scary part is that anyone can probably use a VPN, buy some mana, and come in here and circumvent any sort of regulation restrictions. Very possible. I'm surprised that you can't jump off here, by the way. If you come here, it's interesting. They want to make it as difficult as possible to leave. Look, I can't leave, and I can't enter the space unless I this is definitely, this is business, folks. This is business for these folks. Okay, there we go. They want to make it as easy as possible and incentivizing for you to leave and make it as hard for you to enter and make it as hard as it possibly can be for you to leave. And anyone who can change that perspective stands in the way of their profits, and they will come after you. And that is exactly what happened to me, folks. And that is exactly why I stepped away from Decentraland as a platform that I evangelize. I do continue to create. I have land there, and I use it as the tool that it is. But, my message is my message. And how I create, that's just my approach. Previously, I went ahead and I did a presentation at Berklee College of Music. I was presenting there, and I was able to share with their students ways in which to create that now weren't available before, such as on Cyber. If you want, you can create a free metaverse space much easier in on Cyber, and has a lot more features than on Cyber. Like, let me show you right here. You can go here to just go on cyber.io. You go to 3D Studio. And you can see, let me see, they actually recently updated this. Very, very cool. Okay, on the top right, let me see, I'm gonna bring this into my view here. On the top right, you can see this little button, this drop-down menu. You're gonna click that, okay? Once you click that, you can select to create a new space or go to any one of your existing spaces. Let's just create a new space. And so today on LinkedIn, the goal was to talk about essentially navigating the metaverse for business success, explore the opportunities, challenges, strategies for leveraging the metaverse to drive business growth and innovation. So actually, the opening part to this episode, and many of you on LinkedIn probably didn't get this. So before, like maybe 30 minutes before, I was watching, I was on Twitch and YouTube before, and I went live over on LinkedIn at 9. So a lot of you probably missed the outright start, so you can watch that, but you saw a different opinion. You saw a different way of looking at things, and I think that is very necessary and very healthy for forming a proper opinion of your own. So by all means, subscribe, like, follow, but make sure you go find some other channels. And, Folding Ideas might be a channel that you might want. I subscribe to the channel. I ended up subscribing to the channel because I want to hear those opinions. I want to see that perspective. I freaking hope that guy hits me up for an interview. That would be fire. So you can come in here and you can see there's different kinds of experiences right here, free. You can go to free, you can see there's all these different free spaces. So you can literally create a metaverse space for free. And it's super easy. In Decentraland, you'll have to pre-place a lot of these holders, right? And then you have to go find, the link on OpenSea to connect it, and there's a lot of steps that you have to do, like even just to build these walls and this space, to have something that's like, for you as a brand, as a creator, like this represents me in a positive sense. Like this is sleek, minimalist, beautiful. It took me 1 second, cost me no money. You can go in here and you can start adding assets. It connects to your NFT wallet, so you can add assets from your NFT wallet. Look at that. You can add multiple wallets. You can go to different chains. One of the things that I found is sometimes these don't work. So sometimes people cut out the skepticism, okay? Sometimes these things don't work. Like, let's see. I'm gonna find one that last time didn't work. Like for instance, there I went through all my NFTs and I didn't find them all. Did not find them all. Okay, this one I think. Okay, they recently updated, so they're building, they're fixing. You gotta respect it. It takes time, but that's amazing. So we're starting to see new things working here. They also have it so if you want to put in a 3D model, boom, look at that. If an NFT has an embedded 3D model, it automatically comes as a 3D model. If you want to change, wow, you can change it. Also, there's a way that you can change it to 2D, I'm pretty sure. I thought. Last time there was. But yes, there's three. So if you have 3D models that are attached to these things, let's see what else we got. I want to see if this one. Boom. So yeah, you can create a full art gallery for free, 3D models. But you have to own the NFTs, if I'm not mistaken, in order for you to sync up the NFTs like this. So keep that in mind. Okay. I'm not seeing any that, let's see. None of the ones that weren't working before. Maybe they're doing a better job at filtering out for their system. But you can also see I clicked here Polygon. So now I'm going to look at some of these NFTs that are on the Polygon network. Let's see. Okay, here we go. You can see format not supported. No, we currently support images, videos, and this has an image. This is a Polygon NFT, so I'm not sure why this one isn't working. So keep in mind, you will run into that experience. Some of these NFTs, they won't work. If you run into that, it's okay. You can just upload a file, as you can see I've done. I just took pictures. But then the viewer, the person who enters your space, can't necessarily find that NFT. It doesn't like go straight to it. And it's like metadata, OpenSea information. So there are drawbacks to that, but hey, you know, you got to create an experience. You got to do what you want to do. Play around with the tools, with where they are. You can also create portals. So different from Decentraland. Decentraland, you have one land next to the other. And yes, you do have little portals that you can place in the scene. But look how these portals work. It's very, very interesting. And it's very easy way for you to own your traffic. You can sell, I can imagine myself as a creator building a huge viewership basis here in On Cyber for free, doing daily concerts, daily events in here as a DJ, and then selling to brands that have On Cyber spaces a portal space. So to say, okay, I want to sell them this space right here. You see it's going to load. And boom, now anyone can get a space like this of their brand. You can bridge your space to theirs with a cool graphic that just fits really well into the space. And when you walk around it, look, it gives you a little preview of that space. That is freaking cool. That is super cool. My phone is blowing up. I wonder if what his name? Dan, did you leak my number somehow? You can also integrate YouTube videos super easy. Like Dan was downplaying like that room with YouTube videos. You know why? Like, cause in Decentraland, you know how hard it is to put a video and to have a video in the space? It is super hard. You have to have your own server. You have to have a way of hosting a video like XYZ. It is so hard. This right after out of the bat, I just can post a YouTube video right there. Boom. And I have a YouTube video embedded in the space now. Took me no time. Amazing. Now you got this space right here. Let's say you can put texts. So let's say we want to put a text. Our text is imagine on Earth. We can say, let's see, size, style, uppercase, lowercase. You can do all the things that you want to do here. Let's see, edit size. Okay. You can change the directional. I want to put it sideways like this. In Decentraland, you don't get those like little percentage markers, so sometimes it's really hard to get things lined up like this. So if I could compare this, I would say Decentraland's like the Linux of Metaverse, whereas this is sort of like the maybe the Windows or the Apple, the Mac. Something really cool, you can also put websites. So if you have a website for your brand, you want to have somebody come to your website and purchase a product, boom. Now, here you go. Another issue. Some of these websites, they do not work. I don't know why. But some websites, they randomly work. And other websites, like this is my website for my other company, does work. So I don't know why that is. I don't know why. But it is super cool that you can go in here and look. You can come in. What the heck? Okay. I think I might need to publish it in order to interact with the website. Let me see. Untitled. No, let me change the name. Okay, they just changed. Oh, what the heck just happened there? Wim Hof. Yes, I love Wim Hof. Oh, man. All right. So there you go. The cringe factor element of working with early stage technology. But some people don't have the, how do you say, the blood sport for it? I don't know. Testing on Cyber 123. Okay. So now I can easily go there. Let's see if I... So yeah, you can go and explore this freaking website. A website from within a website, for me, that's freaking Inception mega style. That is super cool. I love that. A website from within a website. Come on. Come on now. For free. You know, it's like it's like, imagine a MySpace, but this is literally like a my 3D space. So you can see here, now they've updated, you can see a list of all the NFTs and items here. If you want to change it, if you want to teleport to it. Oh, that's cool. I like that. So you can change all the assets. You can see your stats. And you can even build a cinematic of your space. So literally, you can produce a cinematic of this space like this. Render it. Easy. And post that directly to social media. These are tools, folks. These are tools. Simple as that, folks. These are absolutely just tools which are meant to be leveraged and utilized. And for all intents and purposes, it only is what it can be because of the person who uses it. And tell me about how you want to use it. Curious to know what y'all have planned. For me, I got more plans for the day. It is past my stream time here. It was fun. LinkedIn, shout out to everybody on LinkedIn. Shout out to everybody on Twitch, on YouTube. Shout out to everybody watching this afterwards, video on demand. Yeah, I know that people might say, "Oh, you need to like." I just set up this overlay. Okay, I also need like, you know, a green screen. I'm gonna get I ordered a green screen over the weekend from Guitar Hero, and I had a lot of issues with them. Guitar Center, but they were giving me some issues, so I had to cancel the order. But yeah, we're gonna keep providing good information here nonetheless. Appreciate y'all for stopping through. Have a great rest of your day. I'm gonna be back online at 3 p.m. PST, so in about 5 hours with Medieval Strategy. And it's going to be a good time. All right, y'all. Peace out.